Daeho Kim walked through the massive doors of the Galactic Council building. His black suit looked simple next to the bright colors and strange shapes of the alien delegates around him. He carried a small bag with Earth's trade documents inside. Today was supposed to be easy. Just talk about buying and selling things between worlds. The building was huge. It floated in space above a planet called Nexus Prime. Through the clear walls, Daeho could see stars and other ships moving around. He had been to many places as Earth's main speaker to other worlds, but this place still made him feel small. So Young Park walked beside him. She was shorter than Daeho but looked strong. Her job was to think about military things if they came up. She did not like being here. "Something feels wrong," she said quietly. "The other delegates are looking at us funny." "They always look at us funny," Daeho said with a small smile. "We are still new here. Only 50 years since we joined the galaxy. They need time to get used to us." They walked into the main meeting room. It was round and very big. Seats went up in circles like stairs. Each group of aliens sat in their own area. The humans had a small section near the bottom. Most of the other groups had been in space for thousands of years. Humans were like babies compared to them. At the top sat Chancellor Vexthul. He was from a race called the Sauroch. They looked like big lizards that walked on two legs. Vexthul was green with yellow eyes that never seemed to blink. He led something called the Hegemony Alliance. 12 different alien races followed his orders. Near the back, in shadows, sat an old creature that looked like it was made of rocks and metal. This was Keeper Mordan. He was a Vorthak, one of the oldest races in the galaxy. Most Vorthak had disappeared long ago. Mordan was maybe the only one left. His job was to remember old laws and old stories. "The human delegation may speak," Chancellor Vexthul said. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. Daeho stood up. "Thank you, Chancellor. Earth wants to buy farming equipment from the Zelani worlds. We also want to sell our medical supplies to anyone who needs them. The prices are fair for everyone." Some aliens made sounds that might have been laughing. One delegate, a purple creature with too many arms, spoke up. "Why do humans always want to buy things for farms? You have many worlds now. Why not just take what you need from other planets?" "Because that would be stealing," Daeho said simply. "We prefer to trade fairly." More aliens made laughing sounds. Chancellor Vexthul's big mouth opened to show many sharp teeth. How cute. The little humans still think fairness matters in space. So Young Park's hand moved toward her jacket, but Daeho touched her arm softly. "Stay calm," his touch said. "Actually," said another delegate, "maybe we should change some of the old laws. Some of them don't make sense anymore." This delegate was blue with 4 eyes. He was from a race called the Corvani. Keeper Mordan suddenly moved forward in his seat. When he spoke, his voice was old and tired, like wind through caves. "Be careful which laws you want to change, young ones." "Oh, come now," Chancellor Vexthul said. "You and your old stories, Mordan. We are modern beings. We don't need ancient superstitions anymore." "The 13 sacred laws have kept peace for 10,000 years, Mordan said. Yes, we know," the Chancellor said, waving a clawed hand. "Don't attack sacred sites. Don't poison whole planets. Don't build weapons that eat suns. We all follow the first 12 laws. But the 13th law is just silly." Daeho felt something cold move down his back. "What is the 13th law?" Mordan looked at him with eyes like old stars. "The 13th law says never provoke the species from the third rock of Sol. Their wrath burns hotter than dying stars." The room got very quiet. So Young Park looked at Daeho with wide eyes. Sol was the name other aliens used for Earth's sun. "The third rock was Earth, see?" Chancellor Vexthul said, breaking the silence. "Silly old words about humans. Look at them. They are small and soft. They have no scales or claws. They can't even breathe different kinds of air without special suits. What could they possibly do to scare anyone?" "You don't understand," Mordan said. His voice sounded afraid. "The Vorthak made that law for a reason. We remembered what happened when what?" The Chancellor cut him off. "When your people were strong instead of hiding in the dark like you do now." "Those days are over, old rock. The Hegemony Alliance is strong now. We have 12 races and 1,000 worlds. We don't need to be afraid of fairy tales about angry humans." Daeho stood up again. "Chancellor, I don't understand why there is a law about my people. But if it has kept peace, maybe we should respect it." "Respect?" The Chancellor's eyes got brighter. "You want us to respect a law that says we should be afraid of you?" "That's funny. Very funny. Other delegates started making noise. Some seemed to agree with the Chancellor. Others looked worried. A few looked at Keeper Morden like they wanted to hear more old stories. "I have an idea," Chancellor Vexthol said, standing up to his full height. He was very tall, maybe 3 meters. "Let's test this old law. See if it really means anything." "Don't," Morden said. His voice was barely a whisper, but in the quiet room everyone heard it. "The Hegemony Alliance claims the human colony worlds of Haven 7, Greendale, and New Sol," the Chancellor announced. "They are good farming worlds. We need them more than the humans do. The humans can find somewhere else to live." The room exploded with noise. Some aliens cheered. Others argued. Deho felt like someone had hit him in the stomach. Those 3 worlds had millions of human families living on them. "You can't do that," So Young Park said, standing up fast. "Those are our homes." "We can do anything we want," the Chancellor said. "We are strong. You are weak. This is how space works." "The 13th law," Deho started to say. "Is dead," the Chancellor finished. "Just like it will be soon. Guards, remove the humans from this building. We have real business to discuss." Big alien guards started moving toward Deho and So Young Park. As they were pushed toward the door, Deho heard Keeper Morden speak one more time. "You fools," the old Vorthak said. "You have no idea what you have just done." The doors closed behind them with a loud bang. In space around Nexus Prime, ships with the markings of the Hegemony Alliance started moving toward human space. On Earth, warning lights began to flash in places that had been dark for 50 years. Minho Lee was fixing his tractor when the sky caught fire. He lived on Haven 7, a quiet world covered in green fields and small towns. His family had been farming here for 20 years. His wife and 2 children were in the house making lunch. It was supposed to be a normal day. The burning came from above. Big ships with strange shapes dropped through the clouds. They were black and covered in spikes. Minho had never seen ships like these before. He ran toward his house, calling for his family. "Get inside," he yelled. "Lock the doors." But it was too late. Bright lights shot down from the ships. Where the lights hit, things exploded. The barn, the neighbor's house, the school where his daughter went to learn. More ships landed in the fields. They were huge, crushing the crops that Minho had worked so hard to grow. Big doors opened and creatures came out. They walked on 2 legs like people, but they looked like giant lizards. They had claws and teeth and carried weapons that hummed with power. These were Sauroch soldiers. They moved through the town like they owned it. When people ran, the soldiers shot them. When people hid, the soldiers found them. When people fought back with farming tools and hunting rifles, the soldiers laughed and killed them anyway. In the town's small government building, Ye Jin Choi was trying to send a message to Earth. She was a teacher at the local school. But today she was the only person left who knew how to work the communication equipment. Her hands shook as she pressed buttons and spoke into the microphone. "This is Haven 7 calling Earth," she said. "We are under attack. Unknown ships came from space. They are killing everyone. Please send help. Please." The door behind her exploded. Sauroch soldiers walked in. Their leader looked at her with yellow eyes. He said something in his own language, then switched to the common space language that most races used. "Little soft thing," he said. "You make noise." "We don't like noise. I'm just a teacher," Yejin said. "I teach children how to read." "Please don't hurt anyone else." The Sauroch leader tilted his head. "Teacher? Good. You can teach the galaxy something new. You can teach them what happens to humans now." He pointed his weapon at the communication equipment. "Tell them," he said. "Tell them that the Hegemony Alliance owns this world now. Tell them that humans are nothing. Tell them to be afraid." Yejin looked at the microphone. She thought about her students. She thought about Minho and his family and all the other families on Haven 7. She thought about Earth, far away among the stars. "This is Yejin Choi on Haven 7, she said into the microphone. "The Sauroch have attacked us. They think we are weak because we are peaceful. They are wrong. We are not weak. We are just kind. Remember that when you come for us. Remember that we chose to be kind." The Sauroch leader snarled and fired his weapon. The communication equipment exploded. Then everything went dark. Far away on Earth, President Hyun-Woo Nam sat in a room deep under the ground. Around a big table sat the most important people in the human government. They had all heard Yejin Choi's last message. They had all seen the ships moving toward human space. "How many people live on those 3 worlds?" the president asked. 47 million, said Admiral Ji Hyun. She was in charge of Earth's space navy. Her face was hard like stone. Mostly families, farmers, teachers, people who just want to live in peace. And now they're gone, said another official. His name was Kyung-ho Bae, and he was in charge of talking to other worlds. The Vorac don't take prisoners. They don't leave witnesses. We have to do something, Admiral Yoon said. We can't let this stand. With what? Kyung-ho asked. We have maybe 100 ships. The Hegemony Alliance has thousands. 12 different races all working together. If we fight them, they'll destroy Earth too. President Nam was quiet for a long time. Finally, he looked up. Get me Dr. Tae-min Kang. Some people around the table looked confused. Others looked afraid. Dr. Kang was in charge of special projects that most people didn't know about. Projects that were supposed to be secret even from other humans. While they waited, news came from space. Other alien races were talking about what happened on Haven 7. Some said it was sad but not their problem. Others said humans probably deserved it for being so weak. A few said they were worried about what might happen next. But the worst news came from Chancellor Vexthol himself. He made a speech that went out to the whole galaxy. His image appeared on screens everywhere, showing his sharp teeth and cold eyes. People of the galaxy, he said, today the Hegemony Alliance has taken control of 3 human worlds. These worlds are now ours. The humans who lived there fought us, so we removed them. All of them. The president's hands turned into fists. This is what happens when weak races try to take up space that strong races need. The Chancellor continued. Humans are a pest species. They spread too fast and use too many resources. From now on, the Hegemony Alliance will manage the human problem. We will decide where they can live and how many of them there can be. The speech went on, but President Nam stopped listening. He was thinking about Ye Jin Choi and her students. He was thinking about Min Ho Lee and his family. He was thinking about 47 million people who woke up this morning thinking they were safe. Dr. Tae-min Kang finally arrived. He was a small man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had been working on secret projects for 30 years. Projects that other humans weren't supposed to know about. Projects that other aliens definitely weren't supposed to know about. You heard what happened? The president asked. Yes, Dr. Kang said. I've been waiting for this day since we first went to space. Waiting for aliens to attack us. Waiting for aliens to make us angry, Dr. Kang said. His voice was quiet, but there was something dangerous in it. Really truly angry. Not just annoyed or upset. Angry enough to stop pretending? Pretending what? Dr. Kang smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. Pretending that we're just peaceful farmers and traders who want to get along with everyone. Before anyone could ask what he meant, another person came into the room. It was an old alien that looked like he was made of rocks and metal. This was Keeper Mordan, the last Vorthak. Somehow he had traveled from Nexus Prime to Earth faster than should have been possible. I had to come, he said. His voice was full of fear. I had to warn you before you do what I think you're going to do. What are we going to do? President Nam asked. Keeper Mordan looked around the room at all the human faces. Then he looked at Dr. Kang for a long time. You're going to show them why the 13th law exists, he said. You're going to show them what my people saw 10,000 years ago. You're going to remind the galaxy why the Vorthak Empire ran away and never came back. Dr. Kang nodded slowly. Yes, he said. I think we are. Outside, alarms began to ring in military bases around the world. Ships that had been sleeping in hidden places began to wake up. And in the deep places where humans kept their most dangerous secrets, lights that had been dark for 50 years began to glow. The galaxy was about to remember why the 13th law was written. Keeper Mordan sat in the secret room under Earth's government building. His rock-like hand shook as he touched a small device. Light came from the device and showed pictures in the air. Old pictures. Very old pictures. This is what my people found 10,000 years ago, he said to the humans around the table, when the Vorthak Empire was strong and ruled half the galaxy. The pictures showed spaceships, huge ships with smooth curves and bright lights. They looked beautiful and peaceful. These were Vorthak ships from long ago when the Vorthak thought they were the most powerful race in the galaxy. We had explored most of the galaxy, Mordan continued. We had made friends or slaves of hundreds of races. We thought we knew everything. Then our scouts found a small yellow star with 9 planets. The 3rd planet had life, primitive life. The pictures changed. Now they showed Earth from space, but an Earth from long ago. There were fewer lights at night. The shapes of the land looked different. The life forms were called humans, Morden said. They were young. They had just learned to make metal tools. They fought each other with swords and arrows. Our scientists said they would never leave their planet. They were too violent, too stupid, too divided. President Nam leaned forward. But you tried to conquer Earth anyway. We tried to help Earth, Morden corrected. We thought we were being kind. We sent one ship with a small army. We planned to land, take control, and teach the humans how to live properly, how to be peaceful like civilized races. Dr. Taemin Kang made a sound that might have been a laugh. How did that work out for you? The pictures changed again. Now they showed horrible things. Vorthak soldiers running away from humans with bloody swords. Vorthak ships on fire. Vorthak weapons being used by humans who had figured out how they worked in just a few hours. The humans didn't fight like other races. Mordan whispered. Other races fight for territory or resources or honor. Humans fought like the planet itself was alive and angry. They used everything as a weapon. Rocks, sticks, their own bodies. They learned our technology by watching us use it. Then they used it better than we did. More pictures. Humans riding Vorthak vehicles. Humans wearing Vorthak armor. Humans working together in ways that should have been impossible for such a primitive species. Only one ship made it back to Vorthak space, Mordan said. One ship out of 50. The captain was insane. He kept saying the same thing over and over. They fight like demons, think like gods, and love like angels. Never wake them. Never wake them. The room was very quiet. Finally, Admiral Ji Hyun spoke. So your people made the 13th law to protect other races from us. Yes. The Vorthak Emperor ordered all records destroyed. We told the galaxy that Earth was forbidden, but we never said why. We just said never to make the humans angry. Most races forgot, but the law remained. Dr. Kang stood up. Show them the rest, Keeper. Show them what you really came here to say. Morden looked at the doctor with surprise. You know, I've known for 30 years. Ever since I started Project Prometheus. Ever since I realized what humans really are. The pictures changed one more time. Now they showed the galaxy as it was today. Thousands of races living in peace, trading with each other, sharing technology, working together. The Vorthak never told anyone the real truth, Dr. Kang said. They never said what they learned about humans. But I figured it out. Want to know the secret, Mr. President? Everyone looked at him. Humans aren't violent because we're primitive, Dr. Kang said. We're violent because our planet tried to kill us every day for millions of years. Ice ages, volcanoes, earthquakes, diseases, predators. We learned to fight everything, including each other, because we had to. But we also learned something else. What? President Nam asked. We learned to work together when something threatens our family. And once humans decide your family, they'll die before they let anything hurt you. Dr. Kang walked to a wall and pressed his hand against it. The wall opened up, showing another room. This room was full of screens and maps and people working at computers. For 50 years, the galaxy has known humans as peaceful traders and farmers, he said. And that's true. We are peaceful. We do like to trade and farm. But we never forgot what we really are. He led them into the new room. On the screens were pictures of human ships all over the galaxy. But these weren't the simple cargo ships and passenger vessels that other aliens knew about. Every human ship has weapons hidden inside it, Dr. Kang explained. Every human colony has underground bunkers and weapon factories. Every human trade station can become a fortress in 6 hours. We've been preparing for this day since we first left Earth. Captain Bo-Ram Song appeared on one of the screens. She was standing on the bridge of a ship called the Harmony's Edge. It looked like a normal cargo ship, the kind that carried food and supplies between worlds. Captain Song. Dr. Kang said into a microphone. Execute Protocol 7. Yes, sir, Captain Song said. She turned to her crew. You heard him. Let's show them what the Harmony's Edge really is. On the screen, they watched as the cargo ship began to change. Panels opened up to reveal massive guns. Extra engines emerged from hidden compartments. Armor plating slid into place. In less than 5 minutes, the peaceful cargo ship had become a warship that looked like it could fight a whole fleet. We call it the Prometheus Protocol, Dr. Kang said. Every human ship, station, and colony has been built this way. We told other races it was because humans like to be prepared for emergencies. They thought we were just being paranoid. How many ships do we really have? Admiral Yoon asked. About 10,000, Dr. Kang said calmly. Give or take, everyone stared at him. The galaxy thought humans had maybe 100 ships. Where did we hide 10,000 ships? President Nam asked. We didn't hide them, Dr. Kang said. They've been flying around the galaxy for 50 years. Other races just thought they were cargo ships and passenger vessels and mining ships. Because that's what they were, until today. On the screens, they could see it happening all over human space. Ships were changing from peaceful vessels into warships. Space stations were revealing hidden weapon arrays. Colonies were activating defense systems that no one knew existed. There's more, Dr. Kang said. Lieutenant Sujin Huang report. A young woman appeared on another screen. She was wearing a spacesuit and floating near a big asteroid. Sir, the asteroid bases are ready. All of them. Asteroid bases? The president asked. We've been hollow out asteroids and putting bases inside them for 30 years. Dr. Kang explained. The galaxy is full of rocks floating in space. No one pays attention to them. Perfect place to hide shipyards and weapon factories. Keeper Mordan was looking at all the screens with an expression of horror and amazement. You've been planning for war this whole time? No, Dr. Kang said. We've been planning to survive. There's a difference. We hoped we'd never have to use any of this. We hoped we could just live in peace and trade with other races and explore the galaxy together. He looked at the screens, showing the Hegemony Alliance ships moving toward human space. But we also remembered what our planet taught us. Hope for the best. Prepare for the worst. And never ever let anyone hurt your family. On the screens, more and more human ships were revealing their true nature. What had seemed like a small, peaceful human fleet was becoming something that looked like it could conquer the galaxy. The Vorac wanted to test the 13th law, Dr. Kang said quietly. They wanted to see if it really meant anything. He pressed another button. On the biggest screen appeared Commander Jae-Sung-Oh, a man with hard eyes and scars on his face. Commander Oh, Dr. Kang said. Operation Broken Chain is now active. Show the galaxy what happens when someone hurts human children. Commander Oh smiled. It was not a nice smile. Yes, sir. It will be my pleasure. As the screens filled with images of human warships moving through space, Keeper Mordan spoke one last time. The Vorthak Emperor was right, he said. We should never have woken them. And now, 10,000 years later, someone else has made the same mistake. On Earth, sirens wailed as the planet's defenses came online. In space, human ships moved like wolves closing in on their prey. The galaxy was about to learn why the 13th law existed. Admiral Ji Hee-yoon stood on the bridge of the ship called Earth's Thunder. Around her, space was full of human warships that had appeared from nowhere. Ships that yesterday looked like cargo vessels and passenger boats now moved in perfect formation, their weapons ready for war. Fleet status report, she said to her communications officer. All ships reporting ready, Admiral. Operation Broken Chain is active across all sectors. We have confirmed contact with Hegemony forces in the Haven 7 system. Admiral Yoon nodded. Haven 7 was gone. 47 million humans were dead, but the Vorac who killed them were about to learn what that really meant. Open a channel to all ships, she ordered. Across the human fleet, her voice reached thousands of captains and crews. These were people who had spent 50 years pretending to be peaceful traders and farmers. Now they could finally show what they really were. People of Earth's fleet, Admiral Yoon said. Today we fight not for conquest or territory or glory. We fight for our children who will never come home. We fight for our friends who died asking only to live in peace. We fight so that no one will ever again think that human kindness means human weakness. On the ship Harmony's Edge, Captain Boram Song listened to the Admiral's words. Her ship had changed from a simple cargo vessel into a destroyer-class warship. Her crew of 20 peaceful merchants had become a military unit that moved like they had trained for war their whole lives. Because they had. Target the Vorac command ship, Captain Song ordered. All weapons. Ma'am, said her weapons officer, should we try to contact them first? Give them a chance to surrender? Captain Song thought about the children who had died on Haven 7. Children who never had a chance to surrender. No, she said. They had their chance to be civilized. They chose differently. The Harmony's Edge fired its first shot of the war. What looked like a simple energy beam hit the Vorac command ship and cut it in half. The alien ship exploded in a ball of fire that lit up space for 1,000 kilometers. The Vorac fleet commander, a large reptile named General Tektar, watched his command ship die with confusion and fear. The humans weren't supposed to have weapons like that. They weren't supposed to have warships at all. How many human ships are there? He demanded. Sir, our sensors show at least 3,000 in this system alone, his aide replied. But that can't be right. Intelligence said humans only had small cargo ships. Well, intelligence was wrong. General Thektar roared. Send all ships to attack formation. Show these soft creatures what real warriors can do. But as the Sorok ships moved to attack, they found that space itself seemed to be fighting against them. Asteroids that should have been empty rock suddenly opened up to reveal hidden weapon platforms. Debris fields that looked natural turned out to be human mines waiting to explode. Even the dust and gas between planets seemed to carry human sensors and communication devices. Captain Wu Jin An commanded a ship that used to be called the Peaceful Trader. Now it was the Righteous Anger, and it moved through the Sorok fleet like a shark through fish. His weapons didn't just destroy enemy ships, they turned them into examples. Sir, his tactical officer reported, the Sorok are trying to retreat. No, Captain An said. No one leaves until they understand what they've done. His ship fired again. This time the weapon created a field of energy that stopped the Sorok ships from moving. They could fire their guns and run their engines, but they couldn't go anywhere. They were trapped. On the Sorok flagship, General Thektar was starting to panic. How are they doing this? How do humans have technology like this? He didn't understand that humans had never tried to build the best technology. They had tried to build technology that would keep them alive. Every human invention was designed first as a survival tool, and second as whatever else it was supposed to do. The energy field that trapped his ships had been invented to rescue people from burning buildings. The weapons that cut his command ship in half had been designed to dig tunnels through mountains. The sensors that seemed to be everywhere had originally been made to help farmers know when their crops needed water. Humans had spent 10,000 years turning everything into tools for survival. When they went to space, they brought that habit with them. General Yunhaya Seo commanded the human ground forces that were landing on the planets the Sorok had taken. She was small compared to the alien soldiers, but she moved like she owned the universe. Status report, she said to her commanders. Ma'am, we've retaken the government buildings on New Sol. The Sorok garrison surrendered when they saw our mechs. The mechs were another surprise for the Sorok. They had expected humans to fight with simple guns and vehicles. Instead, humans brought giant robots that moved like living creatures and fought with weapons that bent the laws of physics. But the mechs had started as construction equipment. Machines for building houses and roads. When the war began, they just added armor and weapons to machines that already existed. What about the other planets? General Seo asked. Greendale is secure. We're still fighting on Haven 7, but the Sorok there are trapped. They can't leave and they can't call for help. General Seo nodded. Haven 7 was special. That was where the killing had started. The humans wanted the Sorok there to stay alive long enough to see what they had brought on themselves. On Haven 7, Intelligence Officer Myung-Suk Ryu was documenting everything. Her job was to record what the Sorok had done and what the humans were doing in response. The galaxy needed to see both sides. Officer Ryu, said one of her assistants, we've found something strange. What is it? The Sorok didn't just kill the colonists. They tried to. But look at this. The assistant showed her pictures from the destroyed towns. Dead Sorok soldiers lying next to dead humans. Sorok weapons that had been taken apart and rebuilt into human weapons. Sorok vehicles that had been captured and turned against their owners. The colonists fought back, Officer Ryu said with wonder. Farmers and teachers and children fought back against trained alien soldiers. Yes, ma'am. And they hurt them bad. The Sorok took this planet, but they paid for every meter of ground. Officer Ryu smiled. This was important. The galaxy needed to know that humans hadn't just become warriors when the war started. They had always been warriors. They had just chosen to be farmers and teachers instead. Back in space, the Sorok fleet was dying. Their ships were better than human ships in some ways. They were faster and had thicker armor, but human ships fought like they were alive. They worked together in ways that seemed impossible. They adapted to new situations faster than computer programs. General Thektar tried one last desperate attack. He ordered all his remaining ships to ram the human vessels. Maybe they could hurt the humans even if they couldn't beat them. But the human ships just moved apart like they had known what he was planning. His ships flew through empty space and crashed into asteroids that suddenly weren't where they were supposed to be. How? He whispered. How do they know what we're going to do before we do it? The answer was simple, but he wouldn't have understood it. Humans had spent their whole history fighting other humans. They had learned to think like their enemies because their enemies thought like them. Fighting aliens was actually easier because aliens were more predictable than humans. As the last Sorok ship exploded, Admiral Yoon opened a communication channel to the Hegemony Alliance. Chancellor Vexthal's image appeared on her screen. The big lizard looked afraid for the first time in his life. "This is impossible," he said. "Humans are weak. You're farmers and merchants. You can't have defeated my fleet." "We are farmers and merchants," Admiral Yoon agreed. "We're also a lot of other things, including really good at protecting our families. The Alliance has thousands of ships. We'll send them all against you." "Please do," Admiral Yoon said. "We have something to show the galaxy. Something about what happens when you kill human children. Send your ships. Send all of them. Send every ship you have." Chancellor Vexthal's eyes got very wide. "What are you?" Admiral Yoon thought about Yejin Choi and Minho. Lee and all the families on Haven 7. She thought about 47 million people who had died just for being human. "We're the species that your ancestors warned you about," she said. "We're the reason the 13th law existed. And you just learned why." The communication ended. Around Haven 7, human ships gathered like storm clouds. In the distance, more human fleets were moving toward hegemony space. The galaxy was about to see what 10,000 years of human anger looked like. Fleet Admiral Dong-Hyun Park stood on the bridge of his flagship, the New Earth, as it moved through the ruins of the hegemony capital system. Around him floated the broken pieces of what had been the most powerful military force in the galaxy. Sorok ships, Corvani vessels, and the warships of 10 other races drifted like dead metal in space. The war had lasted 3 months. The Hegemony Alliance had sent everything they had against the humans. Thousands of ships, millions of soldiers, weapons that could crack planets and shields that could stop stars. None of it had mattered. "Sir," said his communications officer, "we're getting surrender signals from the remaining hegemony forces." Admiral Park nodded. There weren't many left. The humans had been very thorough. Not cruel. Humans didn't enjoy killing, but thorough. Every hegemony ship that had participated in the attack on human worlds had been found and destroyed. Every commander who had given orders to kill civilians had been hunted down. Every politician who had supported the war had been removed from power. "Accept their surrender," Admiral Park said. "But make it clear they don't get to negotiate. They listen to our terms and accept them, or we finish what they started." On the planet below, Chancellor Vexthal sat in chains in what used to be his throne room. The great hall where he had once commanded 12 races was now full of human soldiers, small, soft creatures that had torn apart his empire in less than 100 days. President Hyunwoo Nam walked into the room. He was an old man who looked tired, but his eyes were like steel. Behind him came Admiral Yoon and Dr. Kang and all the other humans who had planned the war. "Chancellor," President Nam said, sitting down across from the fallen leader, "we need to talk." "I won't beg," Vexthul said, though his voice shook. "Kill me if you want. My people will remember that I fought against you. Your people will remember that you got 47 million humans killed for no reason," President Nam corrected. "That you ignored a law that existed to protect everyone. That you learned too late why that law was written." "We didn't know," Vexthul whispered. "We didn't know what you really were." "Yes, you did. Keeper Mordan told you. Your own histories told you. You just didn't want to listen." The doors opened and Keeper Mordan walked in. The old Vorthak moved slowly like he was carrying a great weight. In his rock-like hands he held a device that projected images in the air. "I brought something to show you," he said to the Chancellor. "Something my people recorded 10,000 years ago." The images appeared above them. They showed the galaxy as it had been when the Vorthak Empire was strong. Thousands of worlds under Vorthak control. Hundreds of races serving Vorthak masters. The greatest civilization the galaxy had ever known. "We thought we were invincible," Morden said. "We thought we understood everything about war and power and civilization. Then we met humans. The images changed. Now they showed Earth as it had been long ago. A blue and green world with primitive cities and sailing ships. It looked peaceful and weak. One small planet. One young race. We sent 50 ships to conquer it. We thought it would take a few hours. More images. Vorthak soldiers landing on Earth. Humans running from superior technology and weapons. At first it looked like every other conquest the Vorthak had ever made. But then something changed. The humans stopped running. They started learning. They picked up Vorthak weapons and figured out how they worked. They captured Vorthak vehicles and turned them against their owners. They adapted and evolved and fought back in ways that seemed impossible. By the end of the first day, the humans were using our own technology better than we were. Morden continued. By the end of the first week, they were building new weapons from the pieces of our ships. By the end of the first month, they were hunting us. The images showed the truth that the Vorthak had hidden for 10,000 years. Human warriors using Vorthak plasma rifles. Human engineers rebuilding Vorthak ships. Human leaders coordinating attacks that destroyed entire Vorthak armies. Only one ship made it home, Morden said. 1 ship out of 50. The captain was broken. He kept saying the same thing over and over. They learn everything. They adapt to everything. They never give up. Never make them angry. Never make them angry. Chancellor Vexthal stared at the images. That's impossible. Humans were primitive 10,000 years ago. Humans have never been primitive, Dr. Kang said, speaking for the first time. They've been dangerous since the day they learned to make tools. You just didn't want to see it. President Nam stood up. The war is over, Chancellor. Your alliance is broken. Your fleets are destroyed. Your people are asking us not to hurt them anymore. Now we need to decide what happens next. You're going to kill us all, Vexthal said. No, President Nam said. We're going to do something much worse. We're going to let you live. We're going to let you go home to your people and explain to them what you did. You're going to tell them that you started a war against farmers and teachers and children, and you're going to tell them how that war ended. He gestured to the images still floating in the air. Images of human ships moving through space like swift predators. Images of hegemony fleets burning. Images of Sauroch soldiers surrendering to humans who looked like they could tear apart planets with their bare hands. The galaxy is going to know what humans really are, President Nam continued. Not the peaceful traitors they thought they knew. The warriors we become when someone hurts our families. Admiral Yoon stepped forward. The Galactic Council will be reformed. New laws will be written, and every species in the galaxy will learn the history that the Vorthak tried to hide. What history? Vexthal asked. Keeper Mordan touched his device again. New words appeared in the air, written in the languages of every known species. The 14th law, he read aloud. The species from Sol's third world asked only to be left in peace. When that peace was broken, they reminded the galaxy why the 13th law existed. Never forget, humans forgive everything except the targeting of innocence. Cross that line, and discover why they are the galaxy's apex predator. The words hung in the air like a promise and a warning. This law will be carved into every government building in the galaxy, Admiral Yoon said. Every school will teach it. Every military academy will study it. Every species will remember what happens when humans stop being kind. On Haven 7, Dr. Haiwan Jung was planting a tree. The planet was being rebuilt, but it would never be the same. Too many people had died here. Too many children would never come home, but it would live again. New families would come. New schools would be built. New farms would grow food that would feed the galaxy, because that's what humans did. They remembered their dead, but they didn't let death stop them from living. Around her, aliens from many species worked alongside humans. Former hegemony soldiers who had surrendered were helping to rebuild the towns they had destroyed. Sauroch engineers were using their skills to make Haven 7 better than it had been before. Dr. Jung, said one of her assistants, a young Corvani named Veltar. Why are the humans letting us help? We were your enemies. Dr. Jung looked at the blue alien. Veltar had been a soldier in the hegemony fleet. He had probably killed humans during the war, but he was here now working to heal the damage he had helped cause. Because the war is over, she said simply. We fought to protect our families and to make sure this never happens again. We won. Now we move forward. But aren't you angry? Don't you hate us? Dr. Jung thought about that. Some humans are still angry. Some humans will always be angry about what happened here. But humans are also practical. Hate doesn't bring back the dead. Building something better might prevent more death. She planted the tree and stepped back to look at it. It was small now, but someday it would be tall and strong. Children would play in its shade. Maybe human children. Maybe alien children. Maybe both. That's the real secret about humans, she said to Veltar. We're not just good at war, we're good at peace too. We just needed to remind the galaxy that peace is a choice, not a weakness. Far away on Earth, President Nam was meeting with the new Galactic Council. Representatives from hundreds of species had come to hear what humans wanted, now that they had won. The human demands are simple, he told them. No more wars of conquest. No more genocide. No more treating any species as inferior just because they choose to be peaceful. And if we agree to this, asked the representative from the Alteran Republic. Then we go back to being farmers and traders and teachers, President Nam said. We explore the galaxy together. We share our knowledge. We build something better than what came before. And if we don't agree? President Nam was quiet for a moment. Behind him, the wall showed images from the war. Human ships moving like storm clouds, alien fleets burning in space. The complete destruction of the most powerful military alliance in galactic history. The 14th law is carved in stone now, he said finally. Everyone knows what happens when humans get angry. Really angry. I suggest we all work together to make sure it never happens again. The vote was unanimous. As the council session ended, Keeper Morden approached President Nam. The old Vorthak looked relieved, like a great weight had been lifted from his shoulders. Thank you, he said, for showing restraint, for stopping when you could have kept going. We're not conquerors, President Nam replied. We never wanted to rule the galaxy.